Today's video takes us to Mfaba in the Eastern Cape, and subsequently we'll end up in a small coastal town named Mossel Bay in the Western Cape. Naledi Phangindawo was born in the year 1994 in Mfaba, Eastern Cape, to mother Nomelikhaya Phangindawo. She grew up in a big family with both parents in the home, as well as her brothers and sisters, including Umzwandile and Yakisha. Now, although the family did not have much, but more than anything, the house was warm and it had a lot of love. She was described by her friends and family as someone who was kind and loving, but also feisty at times. She was also described as someone who was a goal-getter, a people's person, and also who wanted the best for her life and was willing to do anything to achieve that. The family moved from Mfaba to Mossel Bay in pursuit of greener pastures to better enable her parents to provide for them. At this point, Naledi was attending Point High School in Mossel Bay, where she did her best in academics, and she also had interests in modeling. She pursued those interests, going as far as being crowned Miss Nokwaneba, which is the community that she lived in. Naledi was ambitious but also very hardworking and would continuously promise her parents that one day she was going to buy them a house and take them out of poverty. She completed her matric at Point High School and thereafter went to Cape Peninsula University of Technology in Cape Town to study towards information systems technology. It was around this time, when she was 19 years old in 2013, that she fell pregnant with her first child. She gave birth to a beautiful baby girl and had to move back to Mossel Bay to take care of her. She started working many odd jobs, including being a waitress, working at Mr. Price, as well as being a cabin attendant for Greyhound, to ensure that she was able to provide for her daughter. Unfortunately, things did not work out between her and the father of her first child, and they broke up. Not too long after the breakup, she started dating another man who was 6 years older than she was, whose name is Mlondolozi Ntlangulela. The two met and immediately fell in love. Now, in the beginning, things looked like they were rosy and amazing. They would go out a lot together. They would be seen at the waterfront just hanging out and just having a good time, as you would expect from any new couple. Now, not long into their relationship in 2014, the couple welcomed their first child together, and Naledi's second, which was a little boy. Now, although from a distance things seemed to be going really well for the couple, sadly they were not. Mlondolozi was constantly laying his hands on Naledi, especially if she wasn't doing the things that he wanted her to do. He was controlling and very dominating in the relationship. Naledi would go on to tell her sisters that if he was upset, it was not uncommon for him to just pick up anything that was next to him and throw it at her. He had done so with an axe on one occasion, as well as 2 kg frozen chicken on another. And this is just a few examples that she gave her sister. But nonetheless, the couple continued with their relationship, and very soon after, they welcomed their second child together, and Naledi's third, which was a beautiful baby girl. Naledi, realizing that her family is growing and that she wanted to provide her children with a good life and even better opportunities than she ever had, she knew that she needed to work even harder in order to be able to attain these things. And this is when she was introduced to the Herbalife opportunity. Herbalife is a multi-level marketing business where people have to recruit people into the business as well as sell their wellness products. Now, Naledi grabbed this opportunity with both hands and worked very hard in both recruiting people as well as selling the products. Now, luckily, Naledi was made for this business because she was a people's person and really worked well with people. And therefore, she was able to recruit not just her family but strangers, and because of this, was able to start growing quite quickly. She grew higher and higher in the business and was able to buy herself her first car. She was also able to take her 3 children to the schools that she desired. She was slowly building the life of her dreams. Professionally, things were really going well for Naledi. She also introduced her boyfriend Mlondolozi into the business because she saw how much it was working for her and wanted him to also have that opportunity. So he signed up after her, and they were able to work together and start making money. Noticing just how good she was at multi-level marketing, she started selling other products as well, including Inuka perfumes and Forever Living. Naledi was not afraid to work hard, and it showed in her social media pages, which were full of all the products that she was selling. She went all out in advertising the businesses, and this is why she achieved the success that she was able to. She then bought her second car, and things really seemed like they were really going well for her. Unfortunately, when it came to her personal life, things were going the exact opposite direction. Mlondolozi was still constantly laying his hands on her. And at this point, she was tired. Her kids were growing up and were now able to notice everything that was going on in the house, and she really did not want that. and she really wanted out of the relationship. And this is when she decided to just tell Mlondolozi that she was done. She told him this, and Mlondolozi straight up refused. He said that would never happen and she must just forget about it. However, Naledi had already made up her mind, so she started making a plan to leave. She knew that for her to be able to successfully leave this man, she would probably have to go to a different town, because she felt like if she was still in the same town, he would track her down and still continue to victimize her. She started looking for work in Knysna, which is a small coastal town not too far away from Mossel Bay. She got the job, which she was going to be doing alongside Herbalife. And once she got that job, she moved immediately without telling Mlondolozi where she was going. A few weeks went by without any communication between the two. However, during this time, Mlondolozi was on a quest to try and find her, which he did, and surprised her with a visit. Now, during this visit, he was asking and begging Naledi to go back to Mossel Bay and that they needed to reunite their family and work things out. Now, obviously, Naledi did not want any part of this and really refused and reiterated that no, she was done and she no longer wanted to be in a relationship with him. Now, this upset him to the highest level, to the extent of which he started laying his hands on Naledi once more. And this time around, he went as far as breaking her finger in the process. After he left, she went to the police station and got a protection order against him. Things were quiet for some time, and Naledi started believing that maybe, just maybe, Mlondolozi had finally got the message and the relationship was done. A few weeks later, she got a call from Mlondolozi's family, and they said that they're hosting a cultural function/ceremony and that she was invited. Now, this wasn't strange because she had a relationship with the family. She had dated Mlondolozi over a couple of years and they had 2 kids together. So it was not strange for them to actually invite her to the function. She then decided that she would honor the invite and go to KwaNongqaba, where the function would be. She arrived at the function and started mingling with Mlondolozi's family and assisted with what and where she could. In the afternoon, while she was inside the house, a young man who was also attending the function walked up to her and told her that someone was calling her outside. Now, not thinking much of anything, she walked outside, and without warning, this is when she met Mlondolozi. He was carrying with him what her family would later describe as something that looked like a spear as well as an axe. Before she could say anything or even turn back, he started striking her almost immediately and was using both the spear and the axe. And in total, it was said that she had over 28 strikes. Now, while all of this was happening, people who were attending the function were screaming, but unfortunately, everyone would later state that they were unable to try and stop him because of the amount of force that he was using. He continued striking her until he satisfied himself, and thereafter he moved on to her car and started doing the same thing to it, breaking and smashing the windows all around. Fortunately, someone had called the ambulance, and when it arrived, that is only when he then left the scene and started driving towards Cape Town. Naledi was still conscious and was taken to hospital, but this is where she unfortunately lost her life on arrival. Naledi's family was distraught. Her mother was admitted to hospital because her pressure had gotten so high and her heart was suffering. Her father, who was already a stroke patient, was also very weak and was suspected that he might also suffer another stroke. And her siblings were broken. How were they going to explain to her young children, who were 2, 4, and 6 at the time, that their mother was gone and never coming back? News broke on social media as well as traditional media of Naledi's passing, and once again, people were outraged and wanted answers. A few days later, because of all the social media attention the case was getting, and the fact that his picture was also trending on Twitter, he decided to hand himself over to the police in Cape Town and was transported back to Knysna. He pleaded not guilty for all charges, but fortunately, just a few years later, a judge would find him guilty of taking Naledi's life, and he was sentenced to 18 years imprisonment. Naledi's 3 children are currently being raised by their grandparents as well as their aunts and uncles. They're currently 9, 7, and 5 years old, respectively. And with that said, we have come to the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay safe out there.